Elizabeth, Francesca sits you down and tells you that she's going to demote you back down to third stew.
Right. As long as I wasn't second, it doesn't matter. She would have had me 10th stew.
I feel like you take one step forward and 2 steps back all the time, and I still have to check.
You didn't see an improvement this charter?
Yeah, I was happy with a little bit, but just not enough.
Sometimes I feel like it's hard to please you.
I'm gonna put you back down to third stew. I want to give these to you, and if you can give me back the 2.
I was so happy I wasn't fired. Like, getting demoted, I was like, okay.
I really don't think that I can deal with her.
So what would you propose?
Is there a possibility we can get somebody else?
Not before the next charter.
Well, I can't fire her, and I need to do something about this because she's got this entitled situation going on, and I can't have this. As a second stew, I have an expectation of how they work. And when I took those 2 stripes away from Elizabeth, all of a sudden the expectation was like nil, which relieved actually a lot of weight off my shoulders because I wasn't then now expecting Elizabeth to think like a stewardess or think ahead or do the things that I need her to do as a second stew because she wasn't a second stew anymore. So it actually was a relief for me to do that. I was happy with that decision because it definitely made me lower my expectations of her.
I took a lot of responsibility as a second stew, but in the end, that's just a stripe. It's just a name for something. Being demoted didn't matter to me. I was still going to work just as hard, obviously harder, like never ending, of course, to prove myself. So throw a dog a bone. If that's what makes her feel better about me and more confident in her job, if she needs to demote me, that's fine. Demote me. I'm still here. It didn't make me feel as bad as, like, I guess it could have if I was like really like, oh my God, no, I'm a second stew, like whatever. Like that's like how I felt. I was like, okay, it's fine.
Did you then think that she was going to promote Aisling to second stew?
Oh, 100%. I was like, okay, now she's just gonna switch us.
I didn't want any tension between Matt and Elizabeth as well because some people thought maybe I would have switched them, like put Ash straight up into second and Elizabeth down. But because it's such a small interior team, I just didn't want to create any more tension or drama than was necessary. And that's why I didn't promote Ash and demote Elizabeth.
When you're running a team, even if you've got someone that's like performing substandard, they're not going to perform any better when they feel like shit. And taking Elizabeth's stripes away and demoting her made her feel like shit.
Times like that, you kind of want to motivate people.
Yeah, I think if you want to motivate someone, that's the wrong way to go about it. A better thing to do maybe would have been to promote Ash and then have them both be second stew. You know, one's not been demoted, but the other person's been recognized.
So, Izzy, Francesca overhears you and Elizabeth talking about Elizabeth's demotion.
Yeah, I called her a twat.
Brilliant.
I was demoted.
Are you f***ing serious?
She doesn't think my priorities are in yachting.
What the
Kind of sounded fake too.
Why don't you go and speak to Captain Lee, who can manage a team probably better than she can? And she's a f***ing twat.
Hey guys. You guys are talking about me. Do you want to involve me?
She starts getting, you know, the whole crew involved in her dilemma and me. It's really freaking annoying. I actually heard them from the crew mess because they were talking so loudly. I mean, don't do it with the door open. Shut the door because it's one thing talking about me and me hearing it, but then if other crew members are hearing it as well, it's not nice.
I knew the door wasn't shut. So, like, you know, if she heard it, then, you know, should I have called her a twat? I don't know. But she didn't get me in trouble for it, which I was surprised. I was like, I just called the chief steward twat, and I didn't get in trouble for it. So, I mean, yes, there was probably a better way I could have handled the situation.
It's not cool. Like, I felt like I was pretty much like the meat in between the sandwich. Like, I'm like in the cabin. I'm like, oh, hi, guys. And I'm like, oh, I'm like, I'm just going to go have a shower now. Bye. I was in the awkward position. Like, you know, I'm third stew. I could tomorrow turn around and be granted with a second stripe. Like, I didn't want to be involved with that drama.
It was more like Izzy like storms into my cabin and starts talking about her and is asking me how I feel about what happened. And obviously I'm going to tell Izzy, and I felt really grateful that, you know, Izzy wanted to see how I was feeling and was supporting me. And yeah, Izzy was very outspoken about how she felt about Francesca's decision to demote me. And obviously I was upset and wasn't happy with it either. So we were just talking about it. Like, yeah, and then Francesca heard.
It's Captain Lee that decides who goes. Maybe she's just jealous because you're more likable than her.
No, don't say that.
But it's just, I mean, that's not the way you should.
I feel like I can't say anything because she was like, and I don't want to talk about this anymore. Like, this is done.
When I worked in the interior, Francesca and I didn't particularly gel well because I didn't think she was a great manager or a great leader. I think she was quick to throw her stews under the bus for things not being done. And, you know, the breakfast, for example, you know, kind of always hurrying me up with that.
Izzy, you're in charge of Captain's breakfast and coffee.
Oh, it's a joke.
Just take that to Captain Lee.
Yeah. I have breakfast for you. Just let me know if it's not made the way you like it.
It's not because it took me half an hour to pour a bowl of Cheerios. It's because we brought in so many provisions the first day that I spent 25 minutes digging through boxes looking for the Cheerios. And I asked her where they were. She said, I don't know, you'll just have to look. You know, but then she completely threw me under the bus. It was because I was looking. It's not because it just took me like half an hour to like pour some Cheerios. So I hadn't had a very good time working with her. And then only from the outside had I seen how she was running the interior. Obviously, I'm not a manager, so I can't fully comment, but I think demoting someone and making them feel like is a twat move. So yeah, I called her a twat.
People chat, like whatever. You can bitch about whoever. I bitch, everyone bitches.
Yeah,
you know,
of
people
course.
need to get things off their chest. So, and it was a big deal, you know, so I would only assume people would chat about it. But it was just like the loudness of it was the most annoying part of it. It's frustrating. But, you know, just rather she should just be sucking it up. Like Captain Lee says, suck it up, cream puff. She should freaking listen to that.
Elizabeth, you and Izzy hear about Francesca and Aisling kind of, you know, jumping in the water to take a little swim.
I remember being like, oh, okay, cool. That would totally never have happened if I was on that boat.
Go for a tiki torch swim.
No.
You can go when we're packing down. Ash and Francesca just went into the water, I had on the radio.
Really?
I went for a swim.
Like, I'm glad you guys can have a little fun.
Are you annoyed they went for a swim?
Yeah.
Just think now you're at the beach and they're not, and we're going to be alone here for like
Yeah.
half an hour, and you can enjoy it then.
I will.
She was feeling really down that day. And I felt really bad because, you know, you've got these two girls, they're both from Australia, they're both very similar. So obviously they're going to get along well. And Elizabeth was kind of the one that was singled out, like in that equation, which isn't very nice. That's why I suggested like we go for a swim, like when everything's done. And I asked Eddie, and he was like, yeah, totally fine.
When there's no guest, like that's like your only time to jump in the water. Of course, I get that, but it definitely gave ammo for Izzy and I to be like, well, we're gonna have our fun in the water under the moonlight. Oh, this is everything.
Does this make your day better? Yes?
This is everything. It does make it feel worse.
It was definitely a breather from Elizabeth, that's for sure, why I sent her off. But also Ash and I had the interior pretty under control as well. So usually you wouldn't do that if there was, you know, stuff to do. But, you know, I think we managed our time really well. And I think that we had allowed ourselves to, you know, treat ourselves a little bit and just like, yeah, just refresh a little bit.
We both love the ocean. Like, we have been brought up right next to the water. We just needed our own little moment. So we just decided to go down the slide and get in the water.
That slide's so good.
I honestly wish we did that multiple times.
It's kind of just nice to make someone else feel bad when they're having a bad, feel bad when they're having a bad day. That's bitchy. Feel good when they're having a bad day. And I think she probably would have like done the same for me as well if I was having a bad day. I mean, Shane had a swim though, and none of us went and jumped in the water. That was different.
The crew comes back to the boat after the night out.
It was only 10:45.
Yeah, we should go in the hot tub. Like,
Let's do it. Yeah, we went into the jacuzzi because you want to sleep yacht in the jacuzzi. Why not go in the jacuzzi? Other people were coming up and was like, jump in the jacuzzi, come jump in. And everyone's like, no. I think they wanted to, but they might have, got the sense that maybe something was happening between me and Liz.
These two are definitely getting together.
They're gonna hook up for sure.
Turns out they were right, Who'd have thought it?
Elizabeth, you go in the hot tub with James.
Yeah.
And you kiss.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's it? Yeah, no, we kissed, we talked, we had a bit of a heart-to-heart, and that was it, really. Yeah, crazy. A lot of people think other stuff happened. Don't ask me where that comes from.
Oh my God. I mean, it was just so inevitable I'm going to end up in that hot tub. I mean, not necessarily with James, but like.
You never want to go home.
Right. I never want the night to end. That's what it is. I don't want the night to end. I'm having so much fun.
we're the only ones up again. I can't take it.
Again, we're always the only ones up.
Is it James? Right. Who's giving the questions there? What's going on? I'm so uncomfortable all of a sudden.
We were flirty and yeah, and then we kissed, and I'm like, oh God, I guess this is nice.
We were listening to some music, we had a few drinks, and yeah, that was about it, really. All we did was kiss, if that's what's shown on the camera, obviously the camera couldn't have missed anything. We were right in front of it, so if we only kissed on camera, we only kissed. Next question, let's move on swiftly.
It went fine at first, but then, once enough of the sauce got into Rachel, she becomes a different person. And, when it's in public and, being a part of a crew, then it's so embarrassing. It's so embarrassing.